Butterfly Effect, written and published by Ngasline. Every thought that crosses your mind is like a seed planted in fertile soil. Just as a tiny acorn contains within it the blueprint for a mighty oak tree, each thought you nurture has the potential to grow into a reality that shapes your life in profound ways. This fundamental truth has been demonstrated repeatedly through both scientific research and countless personal experiences. Our minds process thousands of thoughts daily, creating intricate patterns that form the foundation of our beliefs, behaviors, and ultimately, our reality. These thought patterns, when repeated consistently, create neural pathways in our brains that become stronger over time. It's similar to walking through a field of tall grass. The more you walk the same path, the more defined and easier to follow it becomes. The science behind thought manifestation is fascinating. When you think a thought, your brain releases specific neurotransmitters that trigger corresponding emotional and physiological responses. These responses influence your behavior, which in turn affects your circumstances and relationships. For instance, when you consistently think thoughts of gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, making you feel more positive and energetic. This elevated emotional state naturally leads to more productive actions and better interactions with others. Understanding this process is crucial because it reveals how seemingly insignificant thoughts can cascade into life-changing outcomes. Consider a person who begins each morning with the simple thought, "I choose to be kind today." This single thought might lead them to smile at a stranger, who then feels inspired to help someone else, creating a chain reaction of positive interactions that ripple through countless lives. The power of thought manifestation extends beyond individual experience into the collective consciousness. When enough people hold similar thoughts and beliefs, they can create massive social movements and cultural shifts. History is filled with examples of world-changing ideas that began as single thoughts in the minds of individuals who dared to think differently. To harness this power, start by becoming more aware of your thought patterns. Notice the recurring thoughts that play in your mind like background music. Are they predominantly positive or negative, supportive or limiting? These thoughts are not mere passive observations. They are active creators of your experience. Consider your thoughts as investments in your future reality. Each positive, constructive thought is like depositing money into a high-interest account. Over time, these investments compound, creating a wealthy reservoir of positive potential. Conversely, negative thoughts act like withdrawals, depleting your emotional and mental resources. The practice of directing your thoughts intentionally requires patience and persistence. Begin with small, manageable shifts in your thinking patterns. Instead of trying to eliminate negative thoughts completely, focus on gradually introducing more constructive ones. When faced with a challenge, train yourself to think, "What can I learn from this?" rather than "Why does this always happen to me?" As you develop this awareness and control over your thoughts, you'll notice subtle changes in your daily experiences. Opportunities you might have missed before become visible. Solutions to problems appear more readily. Relationships improve as your inner dialogue becomes more positive and empathetic. Think of your mind as a garden where every thought is a seed. You have the power to choose which seeds to plant and nurture. Some thoughts will grow into beautiful flowers, while others might become unwanted weeds. The key is to be intentional about what you allow to take root and flourish in your mental garden. Every significant achievement, invention, or positive change in human history started with a single thought. The device you're reading this on, the chair you're sitting in, the building you're in, all began as thoughts in someone's mind. By understanding and applying the power of tiny beginnings through conscious thought management, you position yourself to create remarkable changes in your life and, potentially, the world around you. Building resilience through small challenges. Life rarely tests us with massive challenges right away. Instead, it presents us with a continuous stream of small obstacles, each one serving as a building block for greater resilience. These daily challenges, which might seem insignificant at first glance, are actually nature's way of preparing us for larger obstacles that lie ahead. Consider how a muscle develops. It doesn't grow through one massive workout, but through consistent incremental stress followed by recovery. Our emotional and mental resilience operates in much the same way. Each time we face and overcome a minor setback, we strengthen our capacity to handle future challenges. This process of building resilience through small challenges is what psychologists call stress inoculation. Take Sarah, a software developer who struggled with public speaking. Rather than immediately forcing herself to present at major conferences, she began by speaking up more in team meetings. Each small interaction built her confidence incrementally. She progressed to leading small team presentations, then department meetings, and eventually became a sought-after speaker at industry events. The key to her transformation wasn't a dramatic leap, but rather the accumulation of small victories. This principle applies across all areas of life. When faced with financial challenges, it's the small daily decisions to save or invest that build financial resilience. In relationships, it's the minor instances of choosing patience over anger that strengthen emotional resilience. In health, it's the small choice to take the stairs instead of the elevator that builds physical resilience. The beauty of building resilience through small challenges lies in its accessibility. Unlike major life events that we can't control, we can actively seek out and engage with small challenges daily. This might mean deliberately choosing slightly uncomfortable situations, striking up conversations with strangers, trying new activities, or taking on additional responsibilities at work. Research shows that people who regularly face and overcome small challenges develop what psychologists call a growth mindset. They begin to view obstacles not as threats but as opportunities for development. This shift in perspective makes them more likely to take on challenges voluntarily and to persist when facing difficulties. Consider the example of Marcus, an aspiring entrepreneur. Before launching his successful business, he spent a year deliberately putting himself in challenging situations. He started by negotiating small purchases, then progressed to networking events, and finally to pitching small projects. Each minor challenge he faced taught him valuable lessons about handling rejection, managing anxiety, and maintaining composure under pressure. The compound effect of handling daily obstacles creates what experts call psychological immunity. Just as our physical immune system becomes stronger through exposure to various pathogens, our psychological resilience grows stronger through exposure to various challenges. This immunity doesn't make us invulnerable to stress or difficulty, but it does make us better equipped to handle it. One particularly effective way to build resilience is through what's called progressive challenge exposure. This involves deliberately seeking out challenges that are slightly beyond our current comfort level, but not so far as to be overwhelming. The key is to find the sweet spot between comfort and overwhelming difficulty, the zone where growth occurs. The process of building resilience through small challenges also teaches us valuable lessons about patience and persistence. It shows us that meaningful change doesn't happen overnight, but through consistent, deliberate effort over time. This understanding itself becomes a source of resilience, helping us maintain perspective during difficult times and trust in the process of gradual improvement. Each small challenge you face today is contributing to your future strength. These moments of minor discomfort are actually opportunities for growth, preparing you for whatever lies ahead. By embracing these small challenges rather than avoiding them, you're not just building resilience, you're creating a foundation for future success. The ripple effect. A single drop of water falls into a still pond, creating concentric circles that expand outward, touching everything in their path. This simple phenomenon perfectly illustrates how our smallest actions can create far-reaching consequences. The ripple effect demonstrates that no action, however minute, exists in isolation. Everything we do has the potential to influence countless lives in ways we may never fully comprehend. Consider the story of a high school teacher who, one morning, decided to spend an extra 5 minutes with a struggling student. That brief conversation not only helped the student understand a difficult concept, but also showed them that someone cared about their success. This small act of kindness gave the student renewed confidence, leading them to help other classmates understand the material. Those students, in turn, were inspired to become peer tutors, creating a cascade of positive academic support that transformed the school's learning culture. The mathematics of influence reveals fascinating patterns in how our actions multiply. Social network analysis shows that our behavior influences not just our immediate connections, but also their connections and their connections, extending to 3 degrees of separation. This means when you make a positive change in your life, you're potentially influencing thousands of people you've never met. A powerful example of this multiplier effect occurred in New York City during the 1980s. When authorities decided to address minor infractions like subway fare evasion and graffiti, they unknowingly triggered a chain reaction that led to a significant reduction in serious crimes. This broken windows theory demonstrated how attention to small details could create massive societal changes. The social impact chains we create extend far beyond our immediate sphere of influence. Consider the story of a woman who decided to pick up 3 pieces of trash during her daily walk. Her neighbors noticed this simple act and began doing the same. Within months, the entire neighborhood had transformed into one of the cleanest in the city, inspiring nearby communities to launch their own environmental initiatives. This movement eventually led to citywide policy changes regarding waste management and environmental protection. Our words, too, create powerful ripples. A sincere compliment given to a colleague might boost their confidence enough to pursue a challenging project, leading to innovations that benefit their entire industry. A small gesture of support to a friend might give them the courage to make a life-changing decision, affecting not only their future, but the lives of everyone they touch. The beauty of the ripple effect lies in its unpredictability and potential for exponential growth. Like a butterfly's wings creating a hurricane on the other side of the world, our smallest actions can set in motion events that reshape reality in profound ways. This understanding carries both power and responsibility. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to create positive change. Understanding the ripple effect changes how we approach our daily interactions. When we realize that every smile, every kind word, every thoughtful action has the potential to create waves of positive change, we become more intentional in our behavior. We begin to see ourselves not as isolated individuals, but as integral parts of an interconnected web of influence. By embracing the ripple effect, we can strategically choose actions that maximize positive impact. Something as simple as sharing knowledge freely, offering encouragement, or showing compassion can create cascading benefits that touch countless lives. The key is to act with awareness and positive intention, understanding that even our smallest choices matter. The ripple effect reminds us that we all possess the power to influence the world far beyond our immediate reach. It encourages us to view our daily choices not as isolated events, but as potential catalysts for widespread change. When we embrace this perspective, every moment becomes an opportunity to set in motion waves of positive transformation that could eventually touch shores we'll never see. The architecture of choice. Every moment of our lives is filled with choices, from the seemingly insignificant decision of what to eat for breakfast to life-altering career moves. These choices, no matter how small they may appear, are the building blocks that construct our future. The architecture of choice isn't just about making decisions. It's about understanding how each choice creates a framework for our lives, much like how individual bricks come together to form a magnificent building. Consider the choice to wake up 5 minutes earlier each day. This tiny adjustment might seem inconsequential, but it could lead to having time for a morning meditation practice, which in turn might improve your mental clarity, enhance your decision-making abilities, and ultimately transform your professional life. The butterfly effect of this single choice ripples through time, creating profound changes in unexpected ways. Our brains make thousands of decisions every day, many of them unconsciously. By becoming more aware of these choices, we can begin to architect our lives with intention rather than letting circumstances dictate our path. This awareness starts with understanding that every choice, no matter how small, carries weight and potential. The decision to smile at a stranger could lead to a meaningful connection that opens new opportunities. The choice to read one page of a book each day could spark an idea that evolves into a successful business venture. The architecture of choice also involves recognizing decision-making patterns. Many of us fall into decision-making traps, such as analysis paralysis or emotional reactivity. By understanding these patterns, we can develop better frameworks for making choices. One effective approach is the 10-10-10 rule. How will you feel about this decision 10 minutes from now, 10 months from now, and 10 years from now? This simple framework helps put choices into perspective and reduces the tendency to make decisions based on short-term emotions. Choice architecture extends beyond personal decisions to how we structure our environment. The placement of healthy snacks at eye level in your kitchen, the arrangement of your workspace, or the organization of your daily schedule all influence future choices. These environmental tweaks create a foundation that makes better decisions more natural and automatic. The cumulative impact of choices becomes evident when we examine successful individuals. Their achievements rarely result from one massive decision, but rather from thousands of small, consistent choices made over time. The entrepreneur who succeeds didn't just decide to start a business. They made countless minor decisions about time management, resource allocation, and personal development that combined to create their success. Creating better decision-making habits requires awareness, intention, and practice. Start by identifying the small decisions that occur regularly in your life. Notice how these choices align with your values and long-term goals. Consider implementing decision-making tools like the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately rather than postponing it. This simple practice prevents the accumulation of small tasks that can overwhelm us later. The architecture of choice also involves understanding the role of defaults in our decision-making process. By setting up positive defaults, like automatically saving a portion of your income or having workout clothes ready by your bed, you create a foundation that supports better choices without requiring constant willpower. The architecture of choice is not about perfection, but progress. Each decision is an opportunity to build a better future, one small choice at a time. The key is to recognize that these choices, while seemingly insignificant in the moment, are the very elements that shape our destiny. By becoming more conscious of our daily decisions and creating supportive frameworks for making them, we can begin to design a life that reflects our deepest values and aspirations. The power of tiny habits. Small habits are the invisible architecture of our daily lives, silently shaping our future success or failure. These seemingly insignificant actions, when performed consistently, create profound transformations that ripple through every aspect of our existence. The power of tiny habits lies not in their immediate impact, but in their cumulative effect over time. Consider the act of reading just one page of a book each day. While this might seem inconsequential, over the course of a year, you would have read approximately 365 pages, essentially completing a substantial book. This same principle applies to any area of life where we wish to create meaningful change. Whether it's saving a small amount of money daily, performing one push-up, or drinking an extra glass of water, these micro-actions compound into remarkable results. The science behind habit formation reveals why starting small is crucial for lasting change. Our brains are wired to resist major disruptions to our routine, but they readily accept minimal adjustments. When we attempt massive changes, we often trigger our brain's threat response, leading to resistance and eventual failure. However, tiny habits slip beneath this radar, allowing us to establish new neural pathways without triggering resistance. The key to successful habit formation lies in making the desired behavior as simple as possible. Rather than committing to an hour of meditation, begin with just 1 minute. Instead of pledging to write a book, start with writing one sentence daily. These minimal commitments might seem too easy, but that's precisely why they work. They eliminate the friction that typically prevents us from taking action. Implementation strategies for tiny habits follow a simple framework. Identify a specific trigger, make the action small enough to be nearly effortless, and celebrate immediately after completion. For instance, if you want to develop a flossing habit, You might commit to flossing just one tooth after brushing. The act of brushing becomes your trigger, the action is minimal, and a small celebration. Even a simple smile reinforces the behavior. Success stories abound of individuals who have transformed their lives through tiny habits. Take Sarah, a former smoker who began by delaying her first cigarette of the day by just 1 minute. Over time, she extended this delay gradually until she had completely broken free from her addiction. Or consider Michael, who overcame severe depression by committing to making his bed each morning. A small act that sparked a chain reaction of positive changes in his life. The true power of tiny habits extends beyond the specific behavior being cultivated. These small wins build self-efficacy, our belief in our ability to achieve our goals. Each successful completion of a tiny habit strengthens our identity as someone who follows through on commitments. This enhanced self-image naturally leads to taking on bigger challenges and achieving greater goals. Another crucial aspect of tiny habits is their sustainability. Unlike dramatic lifestyle overhauls that often lead to burnout, tiny habits are sustainable because they require minimal energy and willpower. They become as automatic as brushing your teeth or buckling your seatbelt. This automaticity frees up mental resources for other important tasks and decisions. Tracking tiny habits is essential but should be kept simple. A basic checklist or habit tracking app can help monitor consistency without becoming overwhelming. The focus should remain on the action itself rather than the tracking system. Remember, the goal is to make the habit so integrated into your routine that tracking becomes unnecessary. The compound effect of tiny habits creates a foundation for more significant changes. As these small behaviors become automatic, they free up the mental and emotional resources needed to tackle larger challenges. What begins as a single push-up might evolve into a comprehensive fitness routine. A daily gratitude note might transform into deeper emotional awareness and stronger relationships. The key is to trust the process and allow these tiny seeds of change to grow naturally into lasting transformation. Perspective shifts. Our minds are remarkable instruments capable of transforming our entire reality through the subtlest shifts in perception. Much like adjusting a camera lens can completely change the composition of a photograph. Small adjustments in how we view our circumstances can dramatically alter our experience of life and the opportunities we recognize before us. Consider how a slight tilt of your head can make a seemingly random pattern suddenly reveal a hidden image. This same principle applies to our daily experiences. What appears as an obstacle from one angle might reveal itself as an opportunity from another. These micro-adjustments in perception often catalyze the most profound changes in our lives. The power of perspective shifts lies in their ability to bypass our usual resistance to change. Rather than forcing ourselves to make dramatic transformations, we simply choose to look at things differently. This gentle approach allows us to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and creativity. For instance, viewing a job loss not as a catastrophe but as an opening for new possibilities can lead to unexpected career paths and opportunities that might have remained hidden under our previous perspective. Our brains naturally create patterns and narratives to make sense of the world. These mental frameworks, while useful, can sometimes limit our ability to see alternative solutions or possibilities. By consciously choosing to shift our perspective, even slightly, we break free from these self-imposed limitations. A simple reframe from I have to I get to can transform a burden into an opportunity, changing not only how we feel about a task, but also how we perform it. These perspective shifts operate on multiple levels. On a personal level, they influence our emotional state and decision-making processes. When we view stress as a performance enhancer rather than a deterrent, our body's response to pressure situations actually changes. On a professional level, seeing challenges as growth opportunities rather than obstacles can lead to innovative solutions and breakthrough moments. On a relational level, choosing to view difficult people as teachers rather than adversaries can transform conflict into collaboration. The practice of shifting perspectives requires cultivating awareness and flexibility in our thinking. It involves recognizing that our initial reaction to any situation is just one of many possible interpretations. By deliberately exploring alternative viewpoints, we expand our range of possible responses and solutions. This mental agility becomes particularly valuable in rapidly changing environments where adaptation is crucial for success. One powerful aspect of perspective shifts is their immediate availability. Unlike many other personal development tools that require specific conditions or resources, we can adjust our perspective at any moment. This immediacy makes it a particularly powerful tool for creating change in our lives. A shift in perspective can instantly transform a moment of frustration into an opportunity for growth, a failure into a learning experience, or a setback into a setup for something better. The ripple effects of these small perceptual changes can be profound. When we shift our perspective about one aspect of our lives, it often leads to natural adjustments in other areas. For example, changing how we view our role in workplace relationships might lead to improvements in our personal relationships as well. These interconnected changes demonstrate the butterfly effect in action, where a small shift in perception creates cascading positive changes throughout our lives. Mastering the art of perspective shifts requires practice and patience. It involves developing the habit of questioning our initial interpretations and actively seeking alternative viewpoints. This practice becomes easier over time, eventually becoming an automatic response that helps us navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom and resilience. Through consistent application, we begin to see that our power to change our lives often lies not in altering our circumstances, but in adjusting how we perceive and interpret them. By understanding and applying the power of perspective shifts, we gain access to a tool that can transform our experience of life without requiring external circumstances to change. This ability to reframe our reality represents one of the most powerful applications of the butterfly effect in our personal development journey. Following your intuition. That subtle whisper within, the gentle nudge that guides you toward or away from certain decisions, is more than just a feeling. It's your intuition speaking. This powerful inner compass has guided humans throughout history, helping us navigate complex situations and make split-second decisions that often prove remarkably accurate. Intuition is our subconscious mind processing vast amounts of information and experiences, delivering insights faster than our conscious mind can analyze them. It's the feeling you get when something doesn't quite add up in a business deal, or when you sense a perfect opportunity before all the logical pieces fall into place. This intelligent guidance system operates continuously, drawing from your accumulated wisdom and pattern recognition abilities. Developing your intuitive intelligence begins with acknowledging its presence and validity. Many people dismiss their intuitive hits as mere coincidence or random thoughts, but this dismissal often leads to regret when they later realize their initial instinct was correct. The key is learning to distinguish between genuine intuitive guidance and fear-based reactions or wishful thinking. To strengthen your connection with your intuition, start by creating quiet moments in your day. This doesn't require hours of meditation. Even a few minutes of silence can help you tune in to your inner wisdom. During these moments, practice noticing the subtle sensations in your body when you think about different choices or situations. Your body often responds to intuitive knowledge before your conscious mind catches up. Consider how many successful entrepreneurs and innovators credit their breakthrough moments to following a hunch. Steve Jobs frequently spoke about the importance of intuition in his decision-making process at Apple. He understood that while data and analysis are valuable, some of the most revolutionary ideas come from trusting that inner knowing that defies immediate logical explanation. The practice of journaling can significantly enhance your intuitive abilities. By recording your initial impressions about situations and later reviewing how events actually unfolded, you can begin to recognize patterns in your intuitive hits. This documentation process helps build confidence in your inner guidance system and improves your ability to interpret intuitive signals accurately. Physical movement also plays a crucial role in accessing intuition. Activities like walking, dancing, or yoga can help quiet the analytical mind and allow intuitive insights to surface. Many people report receiving their clearest guidance during or immediately after physical activity, when the conscious mind is occupied with movement rather than endless analysis. Developing trust in your intuition requires courage. It means sometimes making decisions that others might not understand or agree with initially. However, as you begin to follow these subtle promptings and witness positive outcomes, your confidence in this internal guidance system naturally grows. This doesn't mean abandoning logic or careful analysis. Instead, it's about integrating intuitive wisdom with rational thinking to make more holistic decisions. Intuition often communicates through different channels for different people. Some experience it as physical sensations, others as visual images or sudden knowing, and still others as emotional responses. Learning to recognize your personal intuitive language is key to leveraging this powerful inner resource effectively. The most significant barrier to following intuition is often the noise of modern life and the constant input from external sources. Creating boundaries around information consumption and taking regular breaks from technology can help clear the channel between you and your intuitive wisdom. This might mean turning off notifications, limiting social media use, or designating specific times for deep work and reflection. As you develop your relationship with intuition, you'll find that this subtle guidance system becomes more reliable and accessible. The tiny nudges you receive become clearer signals, and the path forward in various situations becomes more evident. This enhanced intuitive capacity doesn't just benefit personal decisions. It can improve your relationships, career choices, and creative endeavors, leading to more aligned and fulfilling outcomes in all areas of life. The pause principle. In our fast-paced world, the ability to pause before reacting has become an increasingly rare and valuable skill. The space between stimulus and response holds immense power. It's where wisdom, clarity, and intentional action are born. This pause, even if just for a brief moment, can dramatically alter the course of events and create ripple effects that transform our lives and relationships. Consider the last time you received a triggering email or encountered a challenging situation. Your initial impulse might have been to react immediately, perhaps with anger or frustration. But what happens when you consciously insert a pause? This simple act creates a buffer zone where you can process your emotions, consider multiple perspectives, and choose a response aligned with your values and long-term goals. The pause principle operates on multiple levels. At its most basic, it's about taking a deep breath before responding to a situation. This physical act activates your parasympathetic nervous system, calming your body's stress response and allowing your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, to engage more fully. When you breathe consciously, you create space for clarity and wisdom to emerge. Meditation and mindfulness practices serve as powerful tools for developing this ability to pause. Through regular practice, you strengthen your awareness of thoughts, emotions, and impulses without immediately acting on them. This heightened awareness becomes particularly valuable in challenging situations. A daily meditation practice of even 5 minutes can significantly enhance your capacity to pause and respond thoughtfully rather than react automatically. Emotional regulation techniques complement this practice. When you feel strong emotions arising, implementing the stop technique can be invaluable. Stop what you're doing, take a step back, observe your thoughts and feelings, and proceed mindfully. This brief intervention can prevent impulsive actions that might otherwise lead to regret or unnecessary conflict. The impact of thoughtful responses extends far beyond the immediate moment. When you pause before speaking in a heated discussion, you might notice subtle nuances in the other person's position that you previously missed. This can lead to more constructive dialogue and stronger relationships. In professional settings, taking time to reflect before making decisions often results in more innovative solutions and better outcomes. Consider the story of Sarah, a business executive who transformed her team's dynamics by implementing a 24-hour rule for responding to challenging situations. Instead of immediately addressing conflicts or problems, she encouraged her team to pause, reflect, and return to the issue the next day with fresh perspective. This simple change reduced workplace tension, improved decision-making, and ultimately led to increased productivity and job satisfaction. The pause principle also applies to positive situations. When experiencing success or receiving good news, taking a moment to fully absorb and appreciate the experience enriches our lives and helps us make better choices about how to build on these positive moments. This mindful appreciation can guide us toward more fulfilling paths and opportunities. Developing this skill requires practice and patience. Start by identifying trigger situations where you tend to react automatically. These become your opportunities to practice the pause principle. Begin with small moments, perhaps pausing before reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, or taking 3 deep breaths before responding to a challenging email. As you build this muscle, you'll find yourself naturally creating more space between stimulus and response in increasingly important situations. The quality of your pauses matters more than their duration. A thoughtful 3-second pause can be more valuable than several minutes of distracted thinking. The key is to use this space intentionally, allowing yourself to access your inner wisdom and choose responses that align with your highest values and aspirations. In this way, the simple act of pausing becomes a powerful tool for personal transformation and positive impact in the world. Your life masterpiece. Every moment of your life is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. Just as a masterpiece painting isn't created with a single sweep of the brush, your life unfolds through countless small decisions, actions, and experiences that blend together to create something meaningful and beautiful. Understanding this artistic process of life helps us approach each day with greater intention and awareness. Consider how a painter approaches their work. They don't simply throw paint at the canvas, hoping for the best. Instead, they carefully consider each stroke, each color choice, and how it contributes to the overall vision. Similarly, your daily choices are the individual brushstrokes that gradually form the masterpiece of your life. These choices might seem insignificant in isolation. Deciding to wake up 15 minutes earlier, choosing to read instead of watching television, or taking a moment to connect with a stranger. But together, they create the texture and depth of your life story. Creating your life vision is similar to an artist's preliminary sketch. It provides direction and purpose for your daily actions. This vision doesn't need to be rigid or unchangeable. Like an artist's initial concept, it can evolve as you grow and discover new possibilities. The key is having a general sense of direction while remaining open to the creative process of life. Strategic planning for personal growth involves understanding that every small action contributes to your overall development. Just as an artist might practice specific techniques repeatedly to improve their skills, you can focus on developing particular aspects of your character or abilities through conscious daily choices. This might involve dedicating 10 minutes each morning to meditation, practicing gratitude before bed, or committing to learning one new thing every day. The beauty of viewing your life as a masterpiece in progress is that it changes how you perceive mistakes and setbacks. In art, what might initially appear to be a mistake can often be incorporated into the work in ways that add unexpected depth and character. Similarly, life's challenges and apparent failures can become valuable elements of your personal growth story, adding richness and authenticity to your experience. Monitoring progress and adjusting course is essential in both art and life. An artist steps back periodically to assess their work, making adjustments as needed. In life, this means regularly reflecting on your direction and making small corrections to stay aligned with your vision. These adjustments don't need to be dramatic. Often, the smallest tweaks create the most significant improvements over time. The concept of imperfect action is crucial in creating your life masterpiece. Just as an artist must make that first mark on a blank canvas, you must take action despite uncertainty. Every small step forward contributes to your progress, even if it doesn't seem perfect at the time. The key is maintaining momentum through consistent action while remaining flexible enough to adjust your approach as needed. Your life masterpiece is unique to you. While you can draw inspiration from others, trying to exactly replicate someone else's path would be like attempting to create an exact copy of another artist's work. it misses the point of personal creation and authentic expression. Your unique experiences, perspectives, and choices are what make your life masterpiece distinctly yours. Each day presents new opportunities to add to your masterpiece. The small choices you make, how you treat others, how you spend your time, how you respond to challenges, are all brushstrokes contributing to the larger picture. By approaching each day with awareness and intention, you ensure that your actions align with the vision of the life you want to create. Your life masterpiece is always evolving, always in progress. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to add new elements, refine existing aspects, and continue creating something meaningful and beautiful. Through conscious choice and consistent action, you gradually transform your vision into reality, one small brushstroke at a time. The compound effect. Growth rarely happens in dramatic leaps. Instead, it unfolds through the patient accumulation of small, consistent improvements that compound over time. This fundamental principle of exponential growth operates not just in financial markets, but in every aspect of our lives, from skills and relationships to health and personal development. Consider the mathematics of small improvements. Increasing your effectiveness by just one each day results in you becoming 37 times better over the course of a year. Conversely, declining by one daily leaves you near zero. This stark contrast illustrates the power of compound effects in shaping our destinies through seemingly insignificant daily choices. The compound effect operates silently in the background of our lives, often invisible in the short term but devastating or magnificent in its long-term impact. Think about reading just 10 pages of a book every day. While it might seem minimal, this habit compounds to over 3,650 pages annually, equivalent to about 12 books. This same principle applies to saving money, learning new skills, or building relationships. What makes the compound effect particularly powerful is its acceleration over time. The gains in the early stages might appear disappointingly small, which is why many people give up before reaching the tipping point. However, just as money in an investment account grows faster as the balance increases, your progress in any area accelerates as your foundation of knowledge, skills, or resources expands. Understanding this principle transforms how we approach personal growth. Instead of seeking dramatic transformations through unsustainable, massive changes, we can focus on maintaining small, consistent improvements that compound over time. This might mean practicing a new language for 15 minutes daily, adding one healthy food to your diet each week, or setting aside a small percentage of your income for investments. The compound effect also works in building habits and breaking them. Each time you make a positive choice, you're not just affecting that moment. You're strengthening neural pathways that make future positive choices more likely. Similarly, each negative choice compounds into patterns that become increasingly difficult to break. This understanding helps us appreciate the true weight of our daily decisions. Tracking progress becomes crucial when working with the compound effect. Since daily changes are often imperceptible, maintaining records helps us see the broader pattern of growth over time. This might involve keeping a journal, using habit, tracking apps, or regularly measuring key metrics in areas you're trying to improve. These measurements provide motivation during plateaus and help identify areas needing adjustment. The compound effect teaches us patience and persistence. Results may not be visible for weeks or months, but understanding the mathematics of compound growth helps us trust the process. This perspective shift allows us to focus on consistent action rather than immediate results, knowing that small actions, maintained over time, create extraordinary outcomes. Applying the compound effect requires identifying key areas for improvement and designing sustainable daily actions that move you toward your goals. Rather than attempting wholesale life changes, focus on tiny improvements in crucial areas. Want to improve your relationships? Start with expressing gratitude to one person each day. Looking to advance your career? Spend 30 minutes daily learning a relevant skill. The beauty of the compound effect lies in its accessibility. Anyone can harness its power through consistent small actions. While the initial steps might seem insignificant, Understanding that these tiny changes compound over time provides the motivation to persist. Every small choice matters because it's not just about that moment. It's about the compound effect of that choice repeated over months and years, shaping the trajectory of your life in profound ways. The chain reaction. Every action we take sets off a series of events that can shape our future in profound ways. Like dominoes perfectly aligned, one small push creates a cascade of movement that transforms potential energy into kinetic force. This same principle applies to the choices we make and the actions we take in our daily lives. Consider how a single morning decision to wake up 30 minutes earlier might unfold. This extra time allows for a proper breakfast, leading to better focus at work. Improved concentration results in higher quality output, which catches your supervisor's attention. This recognition could lead to new opportunities, promotions, and expanded responsibilities. What started as a simple alarm clock adjustment could ultimately transform your career trajectory. Positive feedback loops are the engines that drive sustainable change. When we take positive action, we often experience immediate benefits that encourage us to continue that behavior. For instance, choosing to take a brief walk during lunch break might initially seem like a small decision. The resulting energy boost and mental clarity make afternoon work more productive. This productivity creates a sense of accomplishment, which motivates you to maintain this healthy habit. The walk becomes a catalyst for other healthy choices, better eating habits, more consistent exercise, and improved sleep patterns. The key to leveraging these chain reactions lies in identifying high-impact trigger points. These are small actions that have the greatest potential to create positive cascading effects. Starting a gratitude practice, for example, might seem insignificant at first. However, expressing gratitude regularly reshapes our perception, helping us notice more positive aspects of our lives. This shifted perspective influences our interactions with others, making us more pleasant to be around. Better relationships lead to increased opportunities, stronger support networks, and enhanced emotional well-being. Building sustainable success systems requires understanding how these chain reactions work in our specific circumstances. Each person's trigger points will be different based on their unique situation and goals. The key is to experiment with various small changes and observe their ripple effects. Sometimes, the most powerful chain reactions start with seemingly insignificant adjustments to our daily routines. Momentum plays a crucial role in maintaining these positive chain reactions. As we accumulate small wins, we build confidence and energy that makes subsequent positive choices easier. This momentum can help us push through obstacles and setbacks that might otherwise derail our progress. It's similar to a spacecraft using gravitational assist from planets to gain speed. Each successful action provides a boost that propels us toward our next achievement. Creating intentional chain reactions requires awareness and strategic thinking. We must consider not just the immediate impact of our actions, but their potential long-term consequences. This means asking ourselves questions like, if I make this small change, what positive outcomes might it enable? What doors might it open? What new opportunities might arise? To maximize the power of chain reactions, we need to create environments that support positive momentum. This might involve surrounding ourselves with supportive people, organizing our physical space to encourage good habits, or establishing systems that make positive choices easier. These environmental factors can either amplify or dampen the effects of our initial actions. The beauty of chain reactions lies in their multiplicative power. While we might not be able to control every outcome, we can initiate processes that create expanding circles of positive impact. By understanding and intentionally using this principle, we can create lasting change through small, manageable steps. Each positive action becomes a link in a chain of events that can transform our lives and influence those around us in meaningful ways. The turning point. Every journey has a defining moment, a pivotal instance where everything changes. Your turning point might be reading these very words right now, as you recognize that this present moment holds the potential to alter the entire trajectory of your life. The beauty of turning points lies in their subtlety. They often appear ordinary until we look back and realize their profound significance. Think of a rocket launching into space. A mere 1-degree shift in its initial trajectory can mean the difference between reaching Mars or floating endlessly in the void. Similarly, the smallest adjustment in your current path, a decision, an insight, or an action, can fundamentally reshape your future. The key is learning to recognize these moments when they appear and having the courage to embrace them. Turning points often disguise themselves as challenges or opportunities that seem insignificant at first glance. Perhaps it's a random conversation with a stranger that plants the seed of a new business idea. Maybe it's stumbling upon an article that introduces you to a life-changing concept. Or it could be as simple as deciding to wake up 30 minutes earlier each day to pursue a long, forgotten passion. These moments of potential transformation surround us constantly, but most people let them slip by unnoticed. The difference between those who create remarkable changes in their lives and those who remain stuck often comes down to their ability to recognize and act upon these subtle cues. It's about developing a heightened awareness of the present moment and understanding that every interaction, every decision, and every thought carries the potential for transformation. Consider the story of James Clear, who transformed his life through the simple act of making his bed each morning. This tiny habit became the catalyst for larger changes in his life, eventually leading him to become a best-selling author and respected voice in the field of habit formation. His turning point wasn't grand or dramatic. It was a simple decision to start with one small, manageable change. The power of a turning point lies not in its size, but in its timing and the chain reaction it initiates. When you make a conscious choice to change something, even something tiny, you set in motion a series of events that can lead to remarkable outcomes. This is where the butterfly effect becomes most apparent in our personal lives. A single decision to read for 10 minutes each day might lead to increased knowledge, which sparks new ideas leading to career opportunities, relationships, and experiences you never imagined possible. To create your own butterfly effect, start by becoming more present and intentional in your daily life. Pay attention to the subtle nudges of inspiration or discomfort that often signal the presence of a potential turning point. When you feel that internal push toward change, however small it might seem, honor it with action. Transformation doesn't require dramatic gestures or complete life overhauls. It begins with small, deliberate steps in a new direction. The present moment is always pregnant with possibility. Right now, as you read these words, you have the power to make a decision that could alter the course of your life. Perhaps it's finally starting that project you've been postponing, reaching out to someone you've been meaning to connect with, or simply choosing to approach your daily tasks with renewed consciousness and intention. Your turning point awaits, not in some distant future, but right here, in this moment. The question isn't whether you'll encounter these pivotal moments, but whether you'll recognize them when they appear and have the courage to act upon them. Every significant change in history began with a single moment of decision, a tiny shift that created ripples of transformation. Your next turning point could be just around the corner, disguised as an ordinary moment waiting to become extraordinary through your conscious choice to embrace it.